Okay, so good evening, everyone. Good evening to all the students who have joined. Today is the last day of the orientation uh, part of this Aidothon 2023. And just like every other day, we have a couple of speakers today. The first one is Punita Mittal. Punita, for those of you who would have followed Shark Tank Season 2, should be familiar face now. And we two got in touch from 8 Korea after the show got telecasted. So I think the last couple of months is when we have been conversing, and also very happy to let you know that from 8 Korea end, we are partnering with SoulUp, which is Punita startup in the mental health care space. Punita is also an IIT alumnus, and obviously has been in the industry working for several years before taking this entrepreneurial plunge. And obviously I like her to tell her about a story, while I know I've heard it a couple of times both on the show and in our conversations, of where she got the inspiration from. And it's a very unique way, I would say, of how she's going about doing this. Well, there's a lot of technology that expertise that she brings in, but this is really not just about the data science, AI, and machine. This is all about about being human, right? And I'll let Punita talk about it shortly. Uh, Today's also happens to be the World IBD Day, so it's also just another day that we live by. But I would say we have hardly any representation from India if you go to the World IBD Day side, right? And uh, you know wonderful to have it. So Punita, will have a 45 minutes kind of a talk with you. We'd like to have you explain your product, the journey, what's the roadmap ahead, what are the challenges and opportunities. And what we have in our audience today is a set of 32 young talented minds, both from the medical fraternity as well as from the engineering biotech community, right? And so people are in their final years, the pre-final years, who are attending this. And this is our second season of Aidothon. We had our first season last year. This year we start off just like last year, the orientation week, and subsequently 12 out of the 32 get selected for the next 9 to 10 weeks of deeper dive into projects that they would like to. And this year our theme is around digital twins. uh, and over the last 4 days, or this week, I would say, we've had all kind of people, from entrepreneurs to design thinkers, to established players, who are consulting in this space. So we've had a lot of information, insightful talks. And this one is really special because it's a product that we were thinking last year. In fact, last year one of the teams, and Dr. Dheeraj can also add. So last year we had a team that actually worked on a prototype of a mental health care app for
Wow.
rheumatoid arthritis and IBD. And I think when we saw your pitch in Shark Tank, we just thought that, hey, the app is already there, right? So, and then so why rebuild it? But there are certain things that was there. So I take to say that people will take inspiration from this. And at the end, after your talk, maybe a quick round of Q&A, around say 10 minutes, that we would like to have. And yeah, with that, Dr. Dheeraj, you want to add anything? Okay, we can get started, Punita. If you have a presentation, or
Yeah,
you want to take it forward. Okay,
I do have some slides,
sure.
but I'll quickly introduce myself and then jump into slides. Um, so yeah, thank you so much for your very kind words, Sujitesh. Very quickly about myself, I graduated from IIT Delhi 2007, and I was then working I was working as part of this company called ZS Associates, which does consulting work in pharma. So I've been in healthcare for the longest time. Then I was at ISB 2011-12. And after 2012, was working with for a couple of pharma companies, and then eventually was working with this startup called Healthify Me. So my I mean, I only understand two things, which is one is health, healthcare, and the other is numbers. So that's where my interest lies. And how SoulUp came about, it's actually quite interesting. I never really wanted to be a founder, to be very honest. But during COVID, it just coincided with me taking a break from corporate life. So I was volunteering near Pondicherry for like 1.5 years. And while I was there, I got a lot of free time, and I was talking to people. I was also just going for a lot of just very confused about what I wanted to do. It was just I've had my own journey with mental health. I've struggled with my own mental health for really long. And it was then when I was able to speak to people freely that I understood that peer support can be a great way to solve mental health. Um, and it can be used, and technology can be used to scale it. So that is where the genesis of SoulUp was. And I'll take you through what we are building at SoulUp. I'm happy to take questions. If there's any burning questions, happy to take them even during the presentation. I'll try and keep it as relatable as possible. Just let's, are you able to see my slides?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, yes, yes. You can go on slideshow. Yeah,
Great.
yeah.
So yeah, I mean, what we are building at SoulUp is in terms of solving for mental health is we are deep believers in human connect. So we believe in conversations, real conversations, and real people. That's something that we gravitate towards each time we get confused about what we're doing. That's my co-founder, Meg. She's an IIT Bombay alum, and we've been building this for the last 1+ years, since Feb last year. So I'll begin with a quick question. I mean, these are not really questions, you don't have to answer it, but it's just to get you thinking. Uh, I would encourage everybody on the group to just think of the last time that they or somebody close to them felt emotionally overwhelmed. And I'm sure it's not something that I'm sure most of us would remember that they've, been emotionally overwhelmed recently or not too far in the past, which really tells us that the problem of mental health, it's not something that's small. It's like a huge issue. And what really happens when we are facing any challenge is that any life demands. Why do we say that mental health is a problem? What does it really mean? What does it mean when we face a problem? And what we are really saying is that when our ability to cope with any situation is not enough, that is when our mental health gets impacted. It could be anything. It could be mental illness. I'll come to that a little more. It could be relationship issues. It could be career issues. It could be taking decisions in life. It could be health issues. Experiencing grief or just trying to improve yourself. If you're not able to cope with what life is throwing at you, that's when your mental health is challenged. One thing now, since we're speaking about mental health, I often try and clarify this as many times as possible that mental health should not be equated with mental illness. Mental illness is different. Mental illness is when you have a diagnosed condition. Mental health is something that we all have. We might be in the pink of our mental health, we might be doing very well, or we might be not doing not so good as far as our mental health goes. But mental health is not mental illness. That's a very small part, of the whole spectrum as we see it. So if we look at mental health as a spectrum, on one corner is mental disorders or mental illnesses, and there might be people on the other end of the spectrum who are relatively thriving, happier, flourishing. And the bulk of the population at any time is going through different levels of mental health, from okayish to, I need a little bit of help. So it's like a whole spectrum, and this whole spectrum needs to be addressed, except for maybe when you're flourishing. The majority of the spectrum needs to be addressed, not only illness. So the other thing that I would encourage everybody to think about is, what do we typically do when we are emotionally not feeling okay? Like, I'll tell you what I do many times when I'm not feeling okay. I either end up binge watching something, or I'm an emotional eater. I will go and eat something that makes me feel temporarily good. So I have sometimes, I mean, a lot of times I am guilty of not coping in the most healthy way. So, I mean, maybe you should reflect on what you do when you're emotionally not okay. What do a lot of us do? The biggest problem is that a lot of us don't really do anything to really address our problems when it comes to mental health. We the larger population, and which is why, any mental health solution, we've not really seen mental health apps go through the roof or do really really well in this country or in the majority of the world, is that most people end up just sleeping over their problems. That's what we discovered when we ask people, what do you really do? No, most people don't do anything unless and until things get very, very bad or very, very serious. So it's not a space that has matured to a degree where people will proactively solve for it. Or will say, no, I will not scroll on Instagram endlessly. I will not distract myself by, through substance abuse or sleeping or it off or, binge watching a show. I will actually address the problem. Most of us don't do that. So that's the biggest hurdle. A lot of people ask us, what is your biggest competition? And we say our biggest competition is people sleeping over their mental health problems, not really doing anything about it. That's our biggest competition. Um, so yeah, that's something that we addressed, which is why we realized that what we really need is to build something that is valuable and that can actually be applied to a lot of people. So I'll skip some of these slides. Maybe I'll go through it. So what do people do? Sometimes if it's in a, you feel like you have something very serious going on, you probably talk to a therapist. And as a business, if you look at it in a business, evaluate it as a business, what did we find? We found that, yeah, it's a great solution, but there are not too many good therapists in the country. Not everybody needs a therapist. So it's not very scalable. So some people thought, oh, just maybe discussing with your family or network should be enough. Is that a potential solution? Should we enable that? But that also doesn't work. Because most of your family or friends, even though they really love you and care, may not understand what you're going through. Another option is people go and read a lot. Your first instinct is sometimes to just Google or maybe download some app or read a blog, which is great. It does, to some degree, it might help you cope in that moment. But ultimately, the efficiency of that is poor. And you feel very isolated. Imagine having depression or imagine feeling lonely and then scrolling the screen endlessly. Doesn't that make you feel more isolated or more lonely? So it's not a great thing. Mental health, by its very nature, needs is something that actually becomes worse if you feel like you are lonely in your journey. So you need to feel connected, otherwise you will just go down a spiral. So obviously reading, soul reading alone, reading something alone, and end of the day doesn't really work. It's not sustainable. Going through chat forums again, it's very cluttered. It's very difficult to make sense of a lot of forums if they've not been done right. So there are issues that exist, but these are the broad ways that people have tried to solve it. All of them have their own pros, of course, but there are cons that we need to be wary of. Which is why we thought, at least when we were building SoulUp, is that the solution needs to be very, very intuitive. And like I mentioned earlier, it needs to incorporate human connect. It should be a solution that does not make you do things alone. It's not a solution that makes you feel disconnected from others. Like you are working on your problem alone. It shouldn't be like that at all. Um, so we kind of asked ourselves, and I would encourage you to do the same, is what's the most instinctive behavior when we are trying to solve any problem? Like we were speaking to a lot of people, and I'm wondering if it's true for this forum. Our most instinctive behavior a lot of times when we are faced with any professional problem, or like I'm trying to cook something, for example, what will I do? For any problem, I'll ask somebody who's done it before. Right? If you're like preparing for engineering entrance, you try and get in touch with people who've gone through that entrance or who are also preparing for it, etc. So that's human behavior. You try and reach out to people who've overcome it, who've done it, and you trust that real experience the most, more than any bookish knowledge. Because those people are experts by experience, not by training. So you want, like for engineering entrance or medical entrance, you'll obviously rely on teachers, but you also want to talk to other students who've prepared and have taken that exam, cracked that exam, because there are certain learnings that only students know. So that's the same thing that we're capitalizing on here, where we're saying Let's talk to people. If you're facing a problem, can we talk to somebody who's already overcome that problem or is in the middle of overcoming it and has made some progress. So that's the solution. The solution is what we are building at SoulUp is a data driven platform to connect us to others who have solved the same emotional problem as us. It's also heavily research backed. There's at least 3 to 4 decades of research around peer support, and I'll take you through some use cases in it. But that's what we're building. So, for those of you who are on LinkedIn, you will see that's what LinkedIn is for: professional networking. We're trying to see if we can build something where you connect with others to solve common emotional issues. So that's the analogy. And why is it effective? If I speak to you as a peer, one is you'll be my role model. Arey, you already solved it, so you're my role model, right? And you need that if you're feeling hopeless or you're not sure if you'll be able to solve it. So you need those role models. And the other is you need to be able to exchange notes and say, what is your perspective? How did you look at it? How did you think about this? And then you also need to be able to say, same, the same has happened with me. You need those aha moments where you say, I felt this. Oh, you too felt this. I made these mistakes. Oh, even I made these mistakes. So you need to be able to, talk on shared ground, common ground. So you need all of that to feel more positive about your journey and to find hope and strength. Now, one other thing. So one is this is something that made sense to us. The other thing that has started making a lot of sense to us and why we believe it's a good time to build something like this is because we see a lot of people on social media. I mean, I am on LinkedIn more than any other platform, but I've seen that on LinkedIn and a little bit on Instagram and all as well. A lot of people are now coming forward and sharing their journeys. So it's not like finding peers is hard because people are more than willing now. That change has happened over the last few years where people are very willing to share their journeys on LinkedIn. They'll tell you about their overcoming cancer, they'll talk about losing a parent. There's so much that people have gone through, and people are sharing those learnings. And it's also helping them because it's building their validation. They feel good about it. When somebody says, kudos and bravo, so they also feel like, yeah, I did the right thing, and I feel so powerful right now in my through because of what I've learned and how I have grown. So initially people didn't share as much, but now that trend is slowly changing. We've seen that happen across the board. And we've also seen the other side where people are saying, hey, do you know any support group for people who are divorced, or do you know any support group for children who have family issues? So there's constant need of people who are looking for support from others like them, and there are people who are willing to talk about their story. So why not just connect the two? That's what SoulUp does. I'll skip this. So yeah, that's what we are building, and we think it's very scalable if we build it using technology and we enable that human connect smartly through data. So I won't go into a lot of details, even though it says details, but I'll quickly tell you what we've built. Um, so there are multiple ways in which peer support can be offered to anybody. One is you talk to somebody one on one. Am I sorry? I'm sorry. I was just checking, by the way, if there are any questions or am I audible? No issues. I'll go back if everything seems. Any questions so far?
Ma'am, actually, I was typing. Can I just ask you directly?
Yeah, please go ahead. I mean, I didn't want to jump into products without concepts being clear. If anybody, yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah, ma'am. The question is, in today's world, if we see a lot of people just pretend to be something, and sometimes they give wrong ideas, manipulate each others, like the cyber crimes and stuff. So, how do you overcome that in these kind of product?
Yeah, that's a great question, Miranchi, and we get that often. One is anybody who is a peer on SoulUp, they fill a detailed form and we verify them one on one, and then they join SoulUp. That's one layer. Second, in terms of saying safety of conversation, the conversation between any person and, like, suppose I discover Giranchi and both of us have issues because we're very confused about our childhood. Maybe we have some issues with some childhood issues. I'm giving a hypothetical example, Giranchi, right? Now, when I select and have a conversation with you, and again we've made this conscious decision to have that conversation on video. It's not easy. A lot of products are being built that you chat with somebody, or and it's anonymous. It's very easy to troll somebody or to say things that you would not otherwise say to somebody's face. So the fact that it is on video makes you act very, very responsibly. Very, very responsibly. Imagine, Biranchi, if only the two of us were talking and you were on video, right? The conversation would be very meaningful. And if we were on chat, I could say just anything and hurt you or trigger you. So that's the second. And the third is the way we are building the narrative, where we are saying, look, this is not, you're talking to somebody who's not an expert. The real value in that conversation is discovering somebody who has been in the same boat, which is very hard. So the value is far outweighs the risk in this case, because the risk has been mitigated so much. You are on video talking to somebody who is verified. All of that risk mitigation is done. Now it is about expectation setting. That the user is coming in with the right expectation, that this is not a therapist, this is not an expert or a doctor. It's somebody who's been in the same boat, but they are the right person. They have the right intentions. And can I speak to them? The last is feedback, where we take feedback and understand how the conversation went. And in case we thought that somebody got triggered or it didn't go very well, we make match them. And if somebody got triggered, then we connect them to the next, kind of connect them to the therapist to make sure that happens. But that's rare, very rare. Because we've already mitigated the risk, we've set the right expectation, we've verified everybody, and we've put you in a video call. So I think it's a combination of multiple things.
Ma'am, like it can happen that they might have the same ground of problem, but the surrounding might be different. So the same suggestion coming from a person with just the same problem, but not the same surrounding, sometimes won't make sense.
Yeah. So that's also a good question. It's let me explain it in this way. When you're talking to somebody who's been in the same boat, you're not coming to them for advice. Again, this is how we set the narrative. You're coming there to brainstorm what is possible and get their perspective. And it's not like you can only talk to them and that's the only person. So how do a lot of people use it on SoulUp? They'll come. Suppose I tell you that I am undecided whether I should get married. I'm giving you an example. It's a real example. People come to SoulUp for even that, because it's a very big decision for a lot of people in our generation. So they'll come and they'll talk to 5 people or 10 people, right? Because they're trying to get perspectives. It's not like I'll talk to only one person and take their advice. It's about I'll talk to one person, understand how they're looking at the problem, share perspectives, exchange notes. I'll take that with a pinch of salt. Ki, haan, samajh mein aaya, got it. And then I'll do what applies to me. If I'm not satisfied, I'll talk to another peer, or I'll talk to the same peer again and go deeper into talking to them. So it's not like there's only one peer, I need to listen to their advice. It doesn't work.
Thank you, ma'am.
I think Gaurav was asking something. Hi, Gaurav.
Good evening, ma'am.
Yeah, please tell me. You can call me Punita.
Yeah,
Please don't call me ma'am. That is very weird.
okay. I'm from Armed Forces Medical College, Pune. So recently we have conducted a second largest study on postpartum depression here in FMC. So for that we created an app which is under development of with Ministry of Defense for screening and management of postpartum depression. So this is one of the feature that what you just explained goes on the line of social support group. Yeah, so which has like an emerging evidence that it is in part with with the pharmacotherapy and CBT and all that we have to treat psychological illness, particularly depression. So my doubt is when I was doing this study, so I found out that like one disadvantage of this thing was ki mothers used to say that they are getting well, but not me. So that is my question. As you gave example of JEE and NEET students, what if a student is putting in equal amount of hard work, but he's saying that other people getting better marks, but then there are negative connotation that gets added to their this thing thought process that why not me? And that is very particular when we come to depression, because there are a lot of genetic factors that play. It is a polygenic thing, not like it is not that black and white kind of thing. So some people might get benefited earlier. Some people might be on therapy for like lifelong therapy of antidepressant. Some might get treated within a year or so. So how do you like make a check on that aspect? Like how can you make sure that a patient doesn't feel negative and like think in a negative sense that I'm not getting well, but so many people are getting well, so many people are getting motivated by these people who are sharing their stories.
Yeah. So again, this is a matching issue, Gaurav, the way we look at it. One is within medical, of course, we make sure that there is no conversation around diagnosis. But I think it's at the end of the day, it's a matching issue where postpartum depression or anything around that phase is a broader bucket. Uh, as we built it, and I'm not saying we are perfect right now, but as we built it, and if somebody is saying, milk for them is a big issue, how much they're able to feed their baby is a big issue, whatever, they have problem X within postpartum phase. Ideally, they should be talking to somebody who has problem X within postpartum phase, because the problem can be really drilled down. Like you might say, I'm working 18, I'm studying 18 hours a day and I'm not getting results, right? That doesn't make you like any other JE aspirant. You have to talk to a JE aspirant who is also putting in 18 hours or, working very, very hard, but is not seeing results. So it's about matching it case to case as much as possible. So sometimes when we feel that, but it's not always true, you may not always end up talking to somebody. So in that case, how does it work? People will come and say, look, I spoke to them. Out of 10 things that we discussed or 5 things that we discussed, 2 were not her issue. 3 were her issue, but 2 were not her issue. So I feel terrible about it. Can I speak to somebody where the first 2 can be addressed? So either themselves or, we recommend, that okay, if out of 5 issues, they were able to address 3, 4, and 5, but not 1 and 2. Because 1 and 2 is not your problem. So like in your case, the example that you gave, if the milk thing, the milk production is not a problem with the first mother, the first peer. So please, can I talk to another peer where milk production is a problem? Because here, this lady doesn't seem to have that problem, so she doesn't understand what I mean. So it's a matching issue. I hope I was able to answer.
Uh, okay, ma'am. Like I got some part of it. I guess you were there was some network issue from my side. Your audio got
So
disconnected in between.
all I'm saying is, Gaurav, I'll repeat quickly. All I'm saying is it's a matching issue. You need to. It's not such a broad category. Postpartum is a huge category. Uh, you know, Preparing for JE is a huge category. Somebody saying I'm preparing a lot, but I'm not getting results. You talk to those students. Don't talk to any JE aspirant. Na? Within postpartum, if you think milk production is an issue, talk to mothers who have issues with milk production. So like I'll give you another example. We recently ran a group around epilepsy, and within epilepsy also it's so different. Some people epilepsy is managed, some people they've just started medication, some people are have epilepsy, are married, have children, and some people are trying to get married, can't get married because they have epilepsy. So they can't all be talking to each other, not always. You need to have context. So commonality of context within the broader bucket. Commonality of cultural context, situational context is also one of the parameters that we look at when we make those matches. Right? So a lot of boxes need to be ticked before somebody is the right person. If they are not, then you talk to another person. Hopefully, when we become very large, then there'll be enough peers so that you will find your perfect match. For that, that's
Yes, ma'am. I got it. Also, ma'am, is there any kind of diagnostic criteria that you have involved in this app to like as you mentioned, mental illness. So there are various kind of mental illness. One on a negative mood spectrum, one on a positive mood spectrum. So have you included any kind of diagnostic criteria or such, so that like it I believe that that would improve the matching aspect of that.
No, completely agree. We don't do diagnosis on the app right now, but we tell you that this
Okay.
peer or this person has. If we say they have ADHD, then we tell you what type of ADHD they have. Right, they've been diagnosed for. Anybody coming in, but we don't filter for somebody coming in. We tell you that who you're talking to has this. Now, whether because a lot of times people have not gone for diagnosis before they come. They're still on their journey before they get diagnosed. So like for instance, you might say I have I get tremors and I know I have I know that I have Parkinson's, but doesn't mean that you can't speak to me. I'm telling you as a peer I have Parkinson's. Because you have tremors, you can still speak to me, and I can tell you, hey, why don't you go for a diagnosis? You have tremors,
Yeah,
I can
so it will
understand you.
motivate them to go to, yeah. Then again,
Peer
improving
support,
the awareness aspect of it.
yeah,
Yeah.
a large part of peer support is promoting help seeking behavior, or promoting a healthy behavior. In any case, sticking to your medication, seeking therapy, going for a diagnosis, all of that is part of peer support. Because you will not tell them ki are ye hua. You'll also ask them, how did you solve it? So they'll say, I went to a
Yeah.
therapist, I got a diagnosis, I stuck by my medicine, so much else. So a lot of it is about that.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, I'll continue unless there are any questions. Go back. Okay, so at a very high level, I'll also explain the kind of products that we're building. This is not so conceptual, but I'll quickly take you through it. Uh, One is One Connect. I think, like I've been talking about, is one-on-one. You can go. Uh, there are a lot of peers on the platform. Right now, there is no recommendation algorithm because we only have 500 peers, so you don't need a recommendation algorithm. So you can look for the peer that you most relate to and book a call with them. And there's a 45-minute long call. Again, like I was mentioning to Biranchi, it's over video. We make those connects over video to keep the discussion rich, to be able to read those non-verbal cues, and to make sure that people own up to their behavior. So that way, no trolling, no unsolicited behavior, none of that happens. So we've at least in the last 1,500 calls that we have had, we probably had one or two cases where, and after that we understood the value of video, where we had ever had a problem. Otherwise, it just goes very smoothly because of these the way we've designed it. And like you can see, there are right now we support 21 languages. These are things that we've only understood over time, that language is important. You need to, like you see, Gaurav, what I was saying, right? There are bigger categories, but even within that 500 peer network, there are around 200 topics, because the topics can get very, very, they can get very niche. And that's what you need to understand. So somebody having vitiligo, from a very young, and being young versus having vitiligo, being a mother and having lived 30 years with vitiligo, has a very different mindset towards their condition versus somebody who recently got diagnosed. So you need to be able to make those choices, that who do I want to talk to, right? So that's why there's so much micro tagging that's needed. And these are some sample profiles. Again, to my earlier point, you'll see simple things like this. We have Pallavi's profile. We say she has taken therapy. So if you are considering therapy, or you don't know, you're unsure, you might talk to Pallavi, and later on, say that, why don't I go for therapy? Looks, I just saw on her profile she's taking therapy, and you can click on it and also sign up for therapy. Which is why peers, and sometimes you'll see peers tagged with things like, they've gone for this support group. So you can try and see if that support group is helpful for you and sign up for it. So through profiles also, and through talking to them, you get motivated to, um, go for specific interventions. We also do groups. So like one-on-one conversations are, just that session, and you can have multiple ones if you want. sometimes people want a more transformational journey. So what we do is we also decided that we'll have 5-6 people who are, again, all of them have the same challenge that they're dealing with, and they can come together and do multiple sessions, and this time with a therapist to lead them. So that, over 8 sessions or 12 sessions or whatever, they're able to get a fairer understanding of how to solve something. So it's a more transformational approach over multiple sessions, and groups is not new, of course. Some of you mentioned it. It's not new. The social, I think the social angle keeps you motivated, and the attrition is low. So you will go through those 12. You won't, the lower likelihood you'll drop off after 1 or 2 sessions. So we also allow that. So these are 2 broad things that we've been building again across different categories. At any point, like right now, we are still not very big, so we still have around 40 groups live. But as you will see, there's groups around different things which are possible. Some of them are not even great candidates, which is why peer support is brilliant, and we get very excited about it because look at this group. There's this group around adoption. People thinking about adopting kids. It's something that you will not typically ask a therapist because they've not been in that situation. So they've probably not thought about it so much. And it's something that you will try and ask other people who are thinking about adoption and ask them, what are you thinking? How do you think this can backfire? So that peers, talking to others who are trying to take that same life decision is a great way. It's a great use case for peer support. So then there are many like this, going through an arranged marriage process, deciding whether you want children, caregiving, if somebody's a caregiver for a parent, not it's not obvious that a therapist will completely get you all the time. So it's a great group to have, stuff like that. And these are some other segments, which is kind of goes to my earlier point where I was showing you the bell curve, that there's so many different scenarios which may not be taken as mental health but are actually mental health use cases. Like medical is a huge one, huge one, and that's how we got associated with 8 where you're looking at conditions and they're probably being addressed by doctors on the physical level, but there is no recourse when it comes to the emotional comorbidity of anything. There's just no way. There are people who've struggled with their condition for the longest time and have not spoken to anybody else, just don't know anybody else who have that condition. So that's a great use case that's emerging for us. So currently, we started, like I said, in Feb. Definitely, it's not been the smoothest journeys. It's mental health, and we're trying to build something that at least we have seen there is no real precedent for this. So it took us some time. When you build a network, you have to seed that network. So we started. Our journey is literally been like, first seed initial peers, have initial conversations for free, allow people to do it for free, launch group conversations over the next couple of months. Then we launched medical, then we saw that. Then we really ramped up, and Sharktank gave us that necessary nudge, like step jump. So we ramped up more, launched more groups. And we've also experimented a lot on price because I think it's because the market is not so mature. It's hard to determine price for something like peer conversations. We started with 0, and we made it $49, $99 to really see, because ultimately we want people to pay to talk to a peer, because that makes the peer also, I would say, more alert, or you kind of feel like this is serious, and you also value the peer's time. So it's got to be that exchange has to be a paid exchange for it to work well, for it to work effectively. And now we see that because people value talking to peers so much, that right now conversations cost anywhere between $299 to $499 on the platform, and people pay for it because it's so difficult to come across somebody who's been in the same boat. And why we also get very excited is that this information is not there in the public domain. It's very hard to know that, Punita went through postpartum depression. Unless and I've gone and blogged about it, it's very hard to find structured data on different people and what they've gone through in their life. So to be able to have that is very valuable information to be able to, drive outcomes for them. currently, we do both B2B and we even market directly to consumers. That's how we started. B2B, of course, we've partnered with Korea, and we're also talking to different kinds of players because we understand that this peer support actually, like I've been saying, applies to all situations. We're talking to ISB because they want it for students. We are talking to corporates. We're talking to pharma companies because they want it for their patients. So it's just because it applies to so many different situations that everybody is a use case, literally. That's how we've been building it. And the larger roadmap is that we right now only through a website. And a lot of people ask us, why is there no app? Why is there no app? Why is there no app? Again, conscious decision. There is no, because we don't know what will work. There is no other app that we can look at and understand, that this is how users take decisions on peer support, finding peer support. There's no way to know it. And building an app takes time, it's expensive. So the way we decided to do it, and a lot of our advisors told us, was to first just go purely web, understand how users use your website, use your platform, and then make an app. So that's what we're planning to do. We'll probably launch the app later this year. Another thing which has happened very organically is getting a lot of inbound users from different parts of the world. Right now, all our peers are Indian origin. But a lot of people sitting outside India obviously want to talk to somebody with the same shared cultural context. So we see a lot of people who book peer conversations with peers on SoulUp. So it's already happening, which is why we think it's only fair and very interesting to launch global, which is also what we want to do in the future. So yeah, that's where we are. I will just quickly, I'm happy to take questions. Yes, hi Kushika.
Hello, ma'am. I just wanted to ask that do you provide any first free session so that people get attracted to this?
Yeah, that's something that we used to do, Kushika. We did do that. However, with increasing scale, we really struggled because unfortunately, a lot of people don't value that first free session also. So two things used to happen. Interesting. Either they would not come because they don't value it, because they've not paid for it. Or second, a lot of times when people think that only the first session is free, the next one is not, they take a lot of time deciding when they want to have their first free session. Because then they know, second se to paid hai. Right? If all sessions are paid, then they know that nothing will change, whether I do it now or later. So it's something that we discovered along our journey, that people are sitting on that first call because it's so, somehow it is precious. So we decided to do away with it. It didn't work for us.
Right, ma'am. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, Cheryl, please. I think somebody had raised their hand. Cheryl Singla, somebody, I'm not sure.
Hello, ma'am.
Hi, yes, please tell me.
Ma'am, I'm a third year medical student from GMC Patiala, and I'm also a member of an organization called Safe Space, where basically all the doctors come up and they have made a safe space basically for teens to talk about their problems. But the major problem that we've been facing is the teenagers, that is our target population. How do we reach them? Like, the marketing aspect of our organization is very, very behind, that it is lacking. So I would like to get a few tips from you on how we can market our organization so that people can reach out to us in a comfortable way.
Okay, I'm highly unqualified to give you any advice here. I've never really marketed to adolescents, but I would imagine most people are on social media. So works very well through schools, though that's a very hard thing to crack, going through schools. But I think works very well through social media for anybody in that age group. I'm hoping that that's being done.
ma'am, currently we are on social media, but then again, like, is there any other measures that we can take?
I think campus ambassadors is another way that people usually go by it, where you look at big schools and you make plant ambassadors in that school and they talk about it. So they talk about it with their fellow classmates. So that's another great way to do it.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, Biranchi, please tell me.
Yes, ma'am. I had this question. Like, recently, like, there have been around 5 suicides just in 45 days in our campus. So when the first suicide happened, that time, like, a lots of medical like medical officials came and they said that you can talk to us anonymously. Like, in your app also, like, it's the same thing, like we connect to a person and we share. Like, how do you provoke people to just get up and talk to people? Because people do think like it's better to not to share things rather keeping it to themselves.
Oh, are you saying how do we make sure people are talking and not, you know, feeling
No,
suicidal?
at least like yeah, means at least coming up and talking to people and sharing their problems, because many a times people don't share it actually, like they keep it to themselves. Like, how do you make sure that people are actually using our app to get the consultation and stuff?
So Biranchi, I mean, again, it's not, and that's I think a bigger challenge of mental health. What we can do, and which is why we are building something like SoulUp. Not that SoulUp makes it super the easiest thing to do, but most important is to lower barriers. And how do you lower barriers? And what are those barriers? There are barriers like cost. Peer conversations are definitely cheaper than talking to a therapist. The other barriers is stigma, right? Talking to a peer like me, like I said, if both of us were engineering aspirants, talking to you would be much easier. So talking to a peer who's been in the same boat is much lower stigma, because you're talking to somebody, you're saying I want to talk to somebody who's also been there. So I won't say stigma is zero, but it's substantially lower. So I think it's just about lowering barriers, and that's all that happens. Ultimately, there has to be somebody has to either nudge you or you have to nudge yourself. Beyond the points, nobody can make you act. But to your point, I think I also wanted to make a side comment that peer support doesn't work at all when it comes to something as extreme as suicide. And what we also want to do, and we should be mindful of, and if anybody wants to do peer support here or build it in the future, that will be amazing. But to we cannot say that we are like, you cannot ruin the peer's mental health at the cost of the caller's mental health. You can't say that somebody will come and will vent on that conversation and go, because then the peer will feel terrible about themselves. So the what we've at least tried to do in order to avoid that is that nobody can book a call on demand. You can't go and say, oh, it's 2 a.m. at night and I am feeling terrible about my life and I want to talk to a peer. It doesn't work like that. Conversations need to be constructive. So we forced a 12 to 24-hour window with most peers, so that you can only talk to them when you've settled down and you're ready for a constructive dialogue, rather than it being like a venting wall. That there are separate spaces for it, not that it's not important, but peer support is not a great space for it. Maybe forums are fine, where there are a lot of people available to do that and to offset how you're feeling without taking the burden only on themselves. A one-on-one connect is not a great place to do that. But yeah, like back to your earlier point, it's very difficult. You can only lower barriers. You can't beyond the point do much. And you can create awareness and lower barriers. That's the two things you can do. Gaurav.
Yeah, ma'am. Like, I have another question. Like, how do one search for a peer? Like, do they search for symptoms, or do they search for a specific disease
They
when
can
it
search.
comes to psychiatric or dermatological conditions?
they can search for anything. They can say skin issues, they can say vitiligo, they can say anything. They can say anything. That's a product issue. That's a product issue for us, where we say, how we tag people. People can go and search anything. The best thing
Yes.
would be like right now. I don't think the UI is great. It's a very cluttered UI. I mean, it's good, but it can be less cluttered, where it's just a search bar and you can go and say, want to talk to somebody who's just lost their job, or a single dad who's just lost his job. That would be a great way to be able to pop up recommendations. But right now, you can search for keywords and aiga.
Like regarding this only, what I'm concerned about is psychiatry and dermatology. So the symptoms are overlapping to a great extent. So we also in our clinic some like many of time it is confusing for us to diagnose the condition, a specific condition. It could be just depression, it could be just psychosis, it could be, but it could be depression with psychosis, without psychosis. Like similarly, there would be similar lesion in so many different dermatological conditions. So once you search through symptoms, so more relevant things will come up first, right?
Yeah, so if you say again, I think I completely agree. If you go and if you search for depression, that depression might be different types of depression. It might come because you have multiple sclerosis, right? So it might be
Yeah.
associated with different things. So then you have to drill down. You can search for depression and then you'll see a filter, and then you can say, I only want to talk to somebody who is wheelchair bound, and hence has that context of depression. But like I said, right now it is rudimentary, Gaurav.
Yeah.
Ideally, it would have been depression and has disability, so you search like that. And then once the app learns that you have, maybe, this is of interest to you, it will start popping those up first. Uh, but Abhi, it's not happening. I agree. That's something that should happen down the line.
Thank
Pratyusha,
you,
yeah.
ma'am.
Uh, Good evening, ma'am. Ma'am, I'm Pratyusha. I'm final year student from Armed Forces Medical College. I would like to know, like, if there is a person facing with a communication barrier where isn't able to express or know what exactly is wrong with him, will there be involvement of the family, like the role of them? You will be approaching them as well when you get a person applying for your app. So, will you go through the family support through what they have seen from their point of view regarding the person, so that for any treatment?
So, are you saying, I'm trying to understand the question better. Are you saying, see, definitely for therapy,
Yes, ma'am.
for somebody who can't express, and that could be either because that's their personality or because they are younger, they will be accompanied by somebody else. Usually, the therapist will make that recommendation. When it comes to peer support, you'll have to do the talking, otherwise it won't work. But we
Mm.
have had peer support. This is where the person who needs support has
Yes.
joined with a spouse or a parent and talking to a peer.
Oh, right, right, right.
So you
Yes.
can have, so it's literally like, yeah, so we've had those cases, but it's something that we are also just encountering, not in too many numbers. We've had that, and we allow it. Like
Yes.
fibromyalgia is a great case where somebody is in so much pain that her caregiver, she's there on the call, but her caregiver is talking to the peer who has fibromyalgia.
Right,
So,
right.
it has happened. We've done that in the past.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
A lot of medical questions, and I am like very scared now because I don't have that medical background. So I am just learning as we go. These are great questions, amazing questions. I was so stupid when I was in final year. I can't believe final year students are so smart now. It's crazy. I didn't know what I was doing with my life when I was in final year. I'm sorry, this is so impressive. Anything else?
So I was actually hoping, Punita, that some of our computer science guys would also have some questions on, how to build up this kind of what Gaurav was asking, the search algorithms and the machine learning algorithms and all. But so if there are any questions from our computer science guys or any Any
Yeah,
biotech
those
people
are
from
welcome.
biotech as well. Yeah.
I mean, I can give you some context if that is interesting to anybody, on the engineering side, that a lot of things we're looking to ultimately automate in the future. Uh, like while we are building for human connect, the human connect will only be there when the peer conversations happen. A lot of other things we are hoping can be automated, like verifying whether people can be peers or making those matches. And those matches also, what are the dimensions of those matches are something that we are only discovering. It's so difficult. So initially we only had flat profiles. Like just yesterday we started adding videos of peers also to their profile, because till you hear somebody talk, you really don't know what their speaking rhythm is or what their personality is like. So you don't know, right? Just their profile doesn't tell you enough. So there are so many softer dimensions to selecting a peer that we are learning, and ultimately those systems will have to be smarter. Those that information will have to be added that we've not, and also curation of peers. That is right now one-on-one manual does not need to happen. The matching does not need to happen. So a lot of that will be automated. We were trying to use a bot to do that for us. So we are working with somebody who can help us put that together. Um, where the curation of peers, the verification can be done through a bot. And also understanding some parts of their language and personality can be captured at that point. But that is still work in progress.
Ma'am, but it can be a privacy issue that you are having that much of details of a person.
Yeah, so that's again a very, very good question, Satyam. So we don't record anything that happens in the conversation. The only thing that we have information on is stuff that you tell the platform to search. And that's also kept at that's also encrypted and kept. That's what most apps do. Like if you look at fitness apps, I'm telling the fitness app I have diabetes, I am, whatever, I'm breastfeeding. You tell the fitness app so many things. So it's only structured information that we capture. Calls are not recorded. None of that data is captured.
Ma'am, but in the call recording, there might be a condition that some mishappening happens or some sort of not a good communication is having. Then you should, I think, record this for the
Yeah,
and
so I think from that perspective, if you think you're getting triggered or the call is not going in the direction that you're supposed to go in,
yes,
then
yes.
both caller and peer are within their right to end the call.
Okay.
At that point, you're not obligated to continue the call. You can always say the call is probably not taking the right path, so can we just close? Again, not has not really happened with us. Like a lot happened maybe 3-4 times, and that also happened because we realized it was not a good match. Ki, arey, nahi, should have spoken to somebody else.
Ma'am,
So
I think some of the Indians have that perspective that they have paid some money so that they should.
so maybe they will go ahead, but we always tell the peers. Peers are trained that that it's okay to say that the call is not going, and we will. And also, we always reimburse if the call doesn't go your way.
Okay.
Again, to make it lower barrier, we always say that if you have a terrible experience, we're happy to reimburse you or match you with another peer for the same payment. So that issue shouldn't, that
Ah,
monitoring issue should not play in your head.
okay, okay. Thank you.
Yeah, Gaurav.
Ma'am, not a question as like I wanted to ask we are, as I said, we are developing that application in the Ministry of Defense, and so we have some plans of incorporating AI and ML to precipitate risk factors and all. So would it be possible to in future to collaborate with your team like through our this thing administration?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't know. Happy to explore when that is in the future and what kind of help is needed. So I wouldn't say no at
Yeah,
all. I say no. I think if we have that context
yeah.
and we have that bandwidth, we'll happily collaborate.
It is on somewhat the same lines, that this thing is on our feature. One of our this thing social support group is one of our feature.
Yeah, happily, Gaurav. I mean, I think it is never a question of intent. I'll be very, very honest. It's always a question
Yes,
of
please.
bandwidth. It's never a question of intent. So,
Yes.
would happily do that.
Sure, ma'am.
Yeah, Vedant had a question.
Yeah, Vedant, you can go ahead. We have two Vedants, Vedant Cha and Vedant Kadodia.
Vedant, go ahead. Whoever
It's,
raised their hand, ask away, ask away. I mean, I'm
the
learning
hand is
so
done.
much through these questions.
Kushika has raised her hand again. Yeah, Kushika, go ahead.
Ma'am, I also wanted to ask that, like, what is the formation of your team? Like, what kind of people work for what kind of topic? Like, I mean, for the development of app to a further extent, or what, like, what does your team consist of?
That's a good question, Kushika. We are a 3-member team right now, 3.5, honestly. I do all, I mean, uh, I think the website is very basic in terms of it's been built on a Shopify framework. So it's just super basic. I've put that together myself. Uh, and so it's me, my co-founder. She does operations. I mean, like she heads operations. She heads the group product. I head the one-on-one peer product. And we have one other person from IT Bombay. She does a lot of on the ground. When I say on the ground, I really mean day-to-day operations for us. And then there's one more person who works half time, and she builds the peer community. So it's just 3.5 people. It's a very very small team, and the way we work is all of us need to be like constantly under pressure, and we only recruit when somebody says ki nahi ho raha hai, we need one more person. So it's very small team. With therapists, we work on contract. Anything else that we think is temporary, we usually work on contractual or internship basis. And just till we really need somebody full time, we are bootstrapped. We don't really hire.
All right, ma'am. Ma'am, I have also one more query. That is that on what basis do you decide that a particular person is fulfilling the demands of being a peer, and what is the criteria of payment to the peers? Do all peers get the equal amount of payment, or is it some variations in there?
So peer, I mean, Kushika, um, theoretically it's democratic as a network. You have to be. No, I always honestly literally look at LinkedIn. Not that it's the same thing, but I say, okay, should it not be democratic? Everybody has some lived experience that they can share. But right now, since we are small, I think the 2-3 things that we look at is what you are saying. You should have a specific thing that you're a peer for. It can't be very generic. Like you should be able to share a specific experience. You should have good, decent, comprehensible communication in one language. Could be any language. Could be a regional language, could be English, could be any one language. And you should have, I would say, you should be able to communicate and use technology and use video well. So those are the basic constraints that we go with. And right now, unless and until there's a very specific experience that a peer is coming for that we really have the need for, we try and keep it above 23 years of age, just to, you know, be safe from, because I mean, just from a vulnerability standpoint, it could be anything. We just took a call and said 23 plus in terms of being a peer.
All right, ma'am. Thank you.
So I don't see any further questions, Sujitesh. So
Okay.
Yeah, great. Then I think we are also on the hour in terms of the time slot. So thanks a lot, Punita, for your time and the sharing of your journey. And I'm sure the students around here who are going to be working on this for the next 2 months, they'll get some ideas. And I think we try to also cover a lot of spectrum, right? And there is a human part of it, there's a product part of it, there's a data part of it, there is a mindset part of it. And it's, I think, yeah. So good that we have some problems which are still to be solved. and I think that keeps I think you going and many of us in this forum also going. So thanks a lot, Punita, and we will also request you to join in sometime in the end of June when it is a mid-term for also some evaluation as we see some interesting ideas take shape. At least people try and put in some ideas of what digital twins they want to build. So I'm sure, and I think similar idea we had got like SoulUp, but in a slightly different way from the Aidothon in 2022. So,
Nice.
so
And
I'm
that
sure.
also,
And
so just to add only one sentence, that also came from one of the FMCG, sorry, the AFMC interns. So he had this fantastic idea of, how do people uh, who are confined to the bed or confined to a small room because of arthritis or because of the bowel diseases, is there anything that they can do to uh, you know to see their mental health doesn't go down, because you are constantly in pain, in and out of the doctors, this test, that test, and so on, and the community that you were belonging to suddenly becomes somebody else's, right? So you are confined. So I think that was a brilliant idea which actually came up from our AFMC intern, and he had actually worked a little bit on. And so I'm glad that we have few more of their in their league who are also very curious. And I think Gaurav and I forget the lady's name who was speaking on that. So yeah, so thank you, Punita. I think you have ignited few more brains to think about this very very particular issue which people don't really see. Physically you can see a lot of stuff, but mental stuff people don't see. And again, we are a multilingual country, so it becomes very difficult. So on my part, personal behalf, thank you, Punita. So thank you.
No, it was my pleasure. Thank you so much for having me over. I'm also happy to share a code if anybody, since it's all students, if any of you would like to try, you can try a conversation. We already have a partnership going with 8 Kriya, but that's for something very specific. That's for autoimmune disease of gut and joints. But I'm sharing this code AID 100. If any of you want to go and book a conversation for free, totally understand and give us feedback because we are nowhere near perfect, guys. So please, I will activate this right after this conversation. So please go ahead and use it, and you can always share it with anybody. It doesn't matter, as in like you can give it to your friends. So feel free to use it and try the product out. Give us feedback.
Thank you.
thank you. That's so
Thanks so much.
nice of you, Punita. Yeah, thank you.
Anytime.
Thank you, Punita. Thank you.
Bye. Bye, guys.
Bye. Bye.
May I request, I see the new next speaker, Baswa, in. May I request Saminder to kind of.
Uh, yeah, hello everyone.
Yeah, Dr. Dheeraj is also here.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, Dheeraj is here.
So I request now our other speaker, Baswa, to please come. Yeah, he's online. I'll just give an introduction of Baswa. So Baswa and I share a long-term relationship from 2016, where we develop together some part of the invention that Sans at IIT Ropar. And Baswa used to visit us quite often, and we have traveled a lot together. So, Mr. Baswa Kumar is an experienced product designer working in medical products and industrial engineering products. Currently, he is working as a product user experience designer and usability engineer at Philips India Limited from January 2020 for mobile surgery C-arm products NPIs. Previously, he was working as a project manager at Koyo Labs Private Limited, India. So our first speaker was also from Koyo Labs, if you remember, where he discovered an innovative medical product for emergency and critical care and end-to-end medical product SANS, which is a world's first low-cost, easy-to-use, multi-powered transportational neonatal care and end-to-end medical product and neonatal CPAP device. It has got 10 plus awards and also covered in national news and magazine. So Baswa is postgraduate. He has done Masters of Design with CGPA of 10 from IIT Kanpur, which is also my alumni institute, in 2014, and a bachelor's degree in mechanical engineering with the university rank of second from Rashtriya Vidyalaya College of Engineering, Bangalore in 2010, and diploma also in mechanical engineering, where he was a gold medalist, college topper from Sandur Polytechnic, Yashwant Nagar, India in 2007. So, Sujiteshji, I am sending a lot of people from Bangalore to you. I think you have a lot of meetings to do now. So, so, he has done some significant he has done he has made some great achievements in both academics and professional career. He has been awarded in recognition of his life-saving clinical performance of SaaS device. So, Baswa, I am tired. I wish you start now.
Okay. Hi. Hello, everyone.
Hi.
So, very good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Mm, I think no need of introductions. Like Dheeraj sir has already provided much more than what I have prepared for. uh, that's good. We share a lot of common thing actually, right from IT Kanpur and work professional and things. It's good. I'm honored to be part of this talk actually. Uh, uh, just to like start my discussion, I would like to just have a camera on from most whoever wants to show off their faces. Just want this session to be interactive. So it's kind of quite interesting session. It's going to be a quite interesting session, definitely. I want to see everyone faces so that I can get motivated and talk more with you guys. Yeah, only four, just to say I. Please. So good. Just wanted to check the audience, like type of audience, Dheeraj sir or whoever. You can answer me. Who are the audience? Only the engineering students and medical
No,
students,
no,
or
no. Basava, we have so we have a cohort which is from medical, from engineering, and also from the biomed area. And in
oh, okay,
engineering, it covers and in engineering it covers the entire spectrum from computer science to civil,
okay.
mechanical, and I think electrical as well. And
Wow.
I think in medical fraternity we have got the medicos from some of the best. They are in their second, third, and in their I think also in the final year of their MBBS degrees, and from some of the very prestigious medical students here as well
Whoa,
as
okay, nice.
engineering students. So
Very nice, very nice.
we had a registration for about 36 students, and I think more or less about 30 students attend this call. Some because as you know it's quite late in the
Yes,
evening.
yes, yes. Right.
Uh, uh,
I
so
totally agree.
so we appreciate that after a hard day's work they are still spending time because
Right.
they want to do this, they want to be a part of this thing. So I think you are just to give you the context. What we do is this is the second edition of Aidothon
Okay.
with IIT Ropar. In the second edition, as also in the first edition, what we had is we had a series of speakers from different aspects of the medical and engineering
Oh,
and design aspect and so on. And the idea is the first week is to give the cohort a feeling of what is going on in the world, listen to the experts,
okay.
imbibe that, and then at
Right.
the end of the first week they have a kind of a assessment
Fine.
to see whether they are seriously interested in going forward, because there we invest more time and more effort from all of us, from 8 Kriya and from IIT Roper resources. So out of this batch, about 12 students would be going forward, grouped into
Nice.
teams, and
Wow.
the engineering students would be spending physical time at IIT Roper. We do encourage the medical students also to come, but I understand it becomes difficult for them to come.
Right.
But then we have to rely only on the virtual technology. So the
Very nice.
output that we are seeing is some sort of a digital twin or a prototype or something which is of use, and can help the warriors or the patients, as we call them, for the rheumatoid arthritis and for the irritable or inflammatory bowel diseases.
That's really
So that's
nice.
where we get the designers. We want the best minds and the young students to come in and listen. So that's the context.
Okay,
So
okay, definitely. Thank you. Thanks for
thank
the brief overview. I got the context now. So it's really amazing to see this kind of a different disciplines coming together for this kind of sessions. Definitely, this session going to be interesting, guys. I'll just start share my screen. Let me know if this is visible. Is it visible?
No, sir.
No, not yet. Okay. Oh, I'm just checking some. I'm working in my laptop, my office. It is asking me to provide some permission. Sorry. Now you can see. Just check. Okay, some recording issue is there. What I will do, I will send the this PPT to you. Can anyone share? I can't share
Sorry.
due to some privacy
Yeah.
issue.
I think you send it to
Sorry, Baswa,
Dheeraj
what is the issue, Baswa?
Office laptop,
What?
sir.
Okay. So you want
So
me to share the screen? Okay, you have sent the by email.
I
I
think
can send it here, not a problem.
yeah, I think Dheeraj, because this session is being recorded, I think Baswa's office is restricting that any presentation to be shared which is
Yes,
recorded,
yes,
something like
definitely.
that.
Yes,
So
yes,
maybe
definitely.
he can send it to you or to Saminder, and
Yeah,
they can.
should. I can handle it, please.
Okay,
Baswa,
Yeah.
you
okay.
please send me
I will.
by email. I'll do it.
Yes, yes. Now I will.
Yeah.
I'm sending you.
Mhm.
Sorry for this. I didn't know the. This is the first time
No,
I'm
it's
using
okay.
the Gmail.
Good. Okay.
Normally we do it in Zoom calls or Teams. So there it
Mhm.
allows. Mm. Yes, Dheeraj sir. I just sent you the.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just logging in. Okay.
Okay. Sorry.
No, no, don't worry.
Fine. In the meanwhile, like, so who all like wants to be in healthcare medical device industry?
So
So
first they
no,
want to
no.
become engineer. I think then they become.
Yeah, definitely, definitely, they are going to be a super engineers, definitely, Dheeraj sir, because they are
Mhm.
working under a prestigious university and very well, like. You can say the professors like you under their training means
Mhm.
they are definitely going to be a,
Mhm.
good engineers, that's for sure. I am assured of that. So
Mhm.
I mean, so there will be a like thoughts, right? I want to be in this field, so who wants to be in the healthcare domain? Maybe it's a pharmaceutical medical device. There is no boundary in the healthcare. Whatever, maybe the small or big, you can just raise your hands, no need to speak up also. Just raise. How many? One. There's one. Nice. Good. Two. That's all. Come, we need more people actually in our domain. We need people like you, guys. Actually, there are a lot of scope in our current India. Actually, in fact, we are a unicorn startup in the world, which is growing rapidly in the field of healthcare and educational domain and the other sector as well. So uh, we have a lot of scope. People like you are very much needed. So explore more, contact, do networking with people who are in the industries. You can get to know about what is the current practice and all. So in that context, I am here right now to do a talk on the importance of usability in the medical product design. So normally you do kind of a industrial product design, normal um, product design development. That's a basic product design development and all. Uh, but here I want to be very specific to the usability. Why I'm a usability designer basically. I came from the design background, industrial design background. I have done the end-to-end
Is it
product
visible?
development.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sorry.
Thanks,
Yeah.
Dheeraj sir. I'm from I did the end-to-end medical device design and development, right from the concept stage to the like the field setup, field studies and all. So even Dheeraj sir was a part of that product sans. Uh, after doing the end-to-end medical product, I felt I want to be in the design field, especially in the usability, where I felt this is very much important in this healthcare domain, and also it is getting a more significance in the regulatory wise as well. Why? Because I'm going to share you now. Sir, you can just or
Yeah.
can I take the control?
Uh,
Is it possible?
no, no, I don't think so. So in
Okay,
Google
fine.
you cannot do it, but maybe on
Okay.
Zoom you can control it. Yeah.
Yes, fine then. Okay.
Yeah.
I will not go to this one because Dheeraj sir has already
Mhm.
said this
Okay.
one. I
Okay.
don't want to spend much.
Okay.
So you
Yeah. Is
guys
it
know
okay?
what? Yes, that's fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Can anyone just in quick line sentence, can anyone explain me what is medical device development? You can see that screen, and if you have your own definition, you can just share with the team. I want this session to be very interactive, to be honest, because see, I'm also learner here. Whatever I learned so far, it's just a basic things. There are so much to learn. I want learn from you guys also as well, because you are the new fresh mind people. Just wanted to have an interactive session. Can anyone explain me in 2 lines what is medical device and development?
Yeah. I think few people have raised their hands. You can speak, guys.
Yes,
Unmute
yes, yes,
yourself and speak out.
yes, please. Anyone. Yes.
Yeah. Whoever want to speak, please speak out.
Okay, that's fine. I think. See,
Okay.
like every product design, we have a medical device sector where the process involves the like we can say ideation, implementation, industrialization, and implementation. Three I's, where ideation come from the paper with the mind from the paper to the thoroughly brainstorming the ideas and making them into the design and development, doing the testing thoroughly, or reliability testing, whatever the engineering requirements they ask for. Then that design will transfer to the production or manufacturing. Then we do the post market release. This is the entire. After post market release also there is a life cycles of the product. So this is the end to end product design and development uh, process. So normally this is what it is required for the medical device industries. This is the standard practice wherever you go, whatever the startup or whether it is a very legacy company. This is the standard process, they follow it. Okay, we can take this as a like a template for your reference. You are going to see this uh, kind of a process in every company, whether it's small or big. I just wanted to give a glance on this because right now you are studying. Maybe you know or maybe you not know of this process. That's why I wanted to have a basic of this. Sir, next slide.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Is it okay?
Uh,
Uh,
any
Baswa
thoughts
more?
on the what is no? Sorry.
Okay. Okay.
Any thoughts on the usability? What is usability? Any definition you have in your mind? What
Guys,
is usability?
interaction has marks. Remember, interaction has marks.
Please don't worry about whether it's a right or wrong. Okay, there is nothing right or wrong. We are learning. Just be a very proactive. Let's
Uh, 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 and also, guys, please don't raise hand. Just switch on the mic and speak because I'm managing phone and laptop separately, so I'll not be able to see hands. So just speak out.
that's fine. You can just speak out, not a problem. Not be disturbance.
Um,
Any thoughts on what is usability?
Usability is a marker of how a product is, how relevant a product is to the general public or to its target audience, and what level of use or interactiveness can the product offer, or what the benefit is uh, to the target audience.
Understood. Thanks, Vedant. That's kind of yeah, it relates to the usability. Yeah. Any other definitions?
So
Or
basically, the effectiveness and efficiency of something that the user is using.
wow, nice answer, Satyam.
Uh,
So that's really good answer. But you missed one point, one important point.
I think
sir, like,
who, how, and when a person needs to take these kind of devices, so that is usability.
Sir, I think it depends on five factors and their relevance and affordability, accessibility, and availability of the product.
Right. Very nice. So actually, you all guys are said it rightly. It's a definition of the usability. Sir, if you go to the next slide,
Yeah.
usability in the late term, it's like effective way and safer way. Okay, so that's a very common definition, and which is implies to the medical terminology also. In the medical terminology, we have our own separate definition. Like it should be very safe. Safe is a term, right? Very important. I am just again repeating safe. Safe use is very much important in the medical. With a effectiveness is a different thing, but safe use, right, that is much more significant impact to the any users. That's where the differs the usability definition with respect to the website, industrial product, and any other product in the market. That is the differentiation. The safe use and the effective use and the efficient use is totally different. Okay, that's what I wanted to convey you. The usability means here safety is the first priority, effectively and efficient is the third one. Thank you. So next slide. Okay, uh, why I'm stressing here safety? Why safety is important? Anyone?
So because the first principle of medicine is do no harm to the patient. So
Definitely,
yeah.
definitely, sir. If you go to the next slide, uh, safety is very important, because to avoid harm to the patient or harm to the user who is using the device, basically that's we need to avoid, right? uh, there is, sir, next slide. I'm not seeing it. Right. So that's really nice. Whatever you said, the arm is comes as a safety risk. Have you come across any real life examples? Have you heard due to the some kind of harm has happened to the patient due to the this medical device? Any example? Or do you remember or do you come across?
So there could be like in the medical tests, there could be some misdiagnosis, and for that, so patient undergoes some treatment that was not meant for the patient. So I've seen like the lab tests there were not like totally accurate, and so the patient had to go some procedures or even medications that resulted in harm, like minimum harm to the patient, but that was there.
Right. Definitely. Very nice. Very nice example. Very nice example. Any other example you like to?
For example, in the COVID case, some vaccines were passed in emergency. So there were some implications to some specific persons from that vaccine. So I think.
Right. That's true. Very well valid example.
So even while donating blood, they do check many things, uh, like your blood pressure, if you have diabetes, if you're like for females they check when was the last periods that we had got.
Right. So whatever the example or scenario you have mentioned, right? Every scenario, every task, every usage has its own hazardous situations. That hazardous situation leads to the arm. That arm can make hazards. Okay, the arm that leads to adverse events. You can say that adverse events can be a injury, harm, or even the life-threatening death also. Okay, each and every usage is very very important in the medical device design. So sir, can you go to the next slide? I want to show you some real life examples. Why this is important? It will make you the importance of how to design the device during the R&D phase, research and development phase of the medical device. It is very very important to consider the user interface aspect and what are the forecasted use errors. uh, so as you mentioned, there are some misdiagnoses. So there was a these are the real life examples. There was a overdoses misinterpretation of the overdoses dosage that leads to the nurse has given 4 days of the amount of the chemotherapy drug in 4 hours. Okay, uh, that much of the dosage leads to the death of that patient in next 22 days. That is the one real life incident. The another real life incident, due to the misinterpretation, wrong user interface, the nurse has delivered overdoses to the baby, neonatal baby. That leads to the baby was like killed. Later that nurse got committed suicide. So that is another example. See, I am not here to like scare you. I am here to uh, not taken the design and development of the medical device seriously. What could go wrong? Okay, that's why we need to be very very stringent while doing the medical device design and development. There was a FDA received infusion pumps. They record everything in between 2005 and 2009. You know, in one of the surgery, surgeon selected the wrong leg. They operated the wrong leg. So you remember they used to write some names on the band-aid, some things on, so that they can they from now from there it was like happened in 1970 or something. They operated in the wrong leg itself because of some of the misinstruction in the files. So from mark the leg which is not going to operate. So let's say that is no surgery done on this leg. So we can see that one. So next slide. There are few more examples. You can see there was a misdiagnosis due to the orientation confusion. There was an X-ray machine which was not showing right or left indications to the user. That was misdiagnosis happened. And there was a X-ray. There was a user error due to the display. You can see I'm reading it as a 22 mm per liter. Okay, but it is actually 2.2. So that is the difference when you design the user interface. When user reads that user interface in a different way, then that is called a user error. And there were a user error due to the miss alarms. Okay, there was a false alarms due to the wrong design, due to the misinterpretation. See, right, teen, 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 teen. You will not come to know which device giving the which alarm at what time. Okay, so there are so many instances due to the alarm they are taken a wrong actions that leads to the hazardous situations.
Next slide.
Yes. You
Uh, Baswa, your voice is not coming right. or maybe my internet is slow. Just a minute, I'm connecting.
Hello.
Yeah, I'm correct connected on Wi-Fi now, so I'll be quick to reply. But I think the problem is at Baswa end. Baswa, is your internet on Wi-Fi or mobile data?
Is it not audible?
Yeah, we missed you for 23 seconds.
Okay, sorry. Now it is audible?
Yes.
Okay, fine. I will just
Mhm,
came closer to the modem.
mhm,
Okay,
mhm.
fine.
Okay.
Uh, can anyone tell me what is wrong with this image?
So
Just see.
hydrogen chloride. So one solution have hydrogen chloride and another doesn't have.
Right. So that is one thing. The packaging
And
remains same actually. This
yes.
is two different things. You can see 1%, 1%. There is a 2 ml stirrer. There is a 3 ml stirrer there. And these are the two different drugs from the same company, but the packaging remains same. Due to this, they nurse took the wrong eye drops. The eyes were went totally off. You can see that's a use error. Next slide, sir. So what happened in the X-ray, actually CT scan, while doing the CT scan, there was no central alignment of the brain. So what diagnostic person did was there was a darker section. That means in the diagnostic means there is a fluids there. He thought that's a kind of a like what bleeding, blood bleeding is there. He took the misdiagnosis. Okay, that CT scan says this is a bleeding, but in actual there is nothing wrong in this image. Yeah, due to the mistake of the alignment is not there, center alignment not is there, and the orientation is not proper. It the focus got unfocused, so that went wrong there. So next slide. Due to the same names of the two patients, including the last name and the first name, there was a mistake in the treating the wrong patient. The files, diagnostic files got mismatched. So this is also comes as a user error.
Mhm,
Wrong patient selected for a treatment. Next,
mhm.
sir. So you know all these things. This impact leads to the some kind of a hazardous situation or not. Do you know what exactly the numbers? What is the quantifying numbers those for the impact? What can go wrong? Can you name it, number it, if you know some random numbers? Fine, sir. Next slide.
Mhm.
See, medical error is a third leading cause in the US. That is the FDA reported recently from the Hopkins study. This is the third leading cause after heart disease and the cancer. You can see uh, this kind of things is kind of a way of killing the patient by through the bad design.
Okay. Yeah.
Understood? So what is the kind of impact? What is the magnitude due to this kind of medical errors? Sir, next slide. So not only the deaths, okay, so there are a patient impact, there are a business impact, huge impact. Even recently our so many medical device companies recalled so many devices due to the some of the adverse events, there was ultrasounds, there was some of the X-ray machine, there was a new ventilators, there were a CPAPs. So many devices got recalled due to the adverse event. So what are the impacts? So physical harm, deaths, emotional distress, loss of income to the patients or the user, reduce the quality of life. It you can see these are the names, right? This is very huge impact. Okay, along with this patient user impact, there was a business impacts. Lot of people lost their jobs, and the people like companies got shut down due to this kind of a adverse event, financial loss, legal liabilities, regulatory scrutiny, damage to the reputations. These are the common thing, and these are the things which will make the company go from top to zero in one day. Okay, so that's where the importance of use errors comes from. And there are also FDA study says 44% of the device recall due to the issues design issues. Please remember this one, 44%. The next slide, sir. Okay, then comes usability. Why usability role is important here? Usability role is very much significant here in medical device, because usability reduces the use error. Okay, when the use error reduces, automatically it enhances the patient safety. And usability role plays very important role in delivering a safe medical device. That's where usability comes into a picture, and it is very important as a one of the important deliverables in the medical device regulatory. So next slide. As I said, usability role is to primarily eliminate use error. That is the very primary aspect of the usability. When I say usability also means ease of use, efficient to use, effective to use. But when I say reduce the user error, means it is a safety aspect. Okay. Uh, so usability has a different kind of a definition in the medical device when you compare to the non-medical device industries. It considering the human factors into the consideration. Human factors means what? Users. First means users, use environment, device use interfaces, device usage scenarios. That means the task, everything. All these things into consideration, where the non-medical devices will be a user only. Okay, not the other things, maybe the user interface, not the use environment. But here we cover all these things, and devise the design the device. Usability is also not only means, it is not a clinical study. Usability is not a clinical study. Usability is also not a not only a user study. Usability involves so many different activities, process. Okay, like research, user interface analysis, the risk management, design control activities, user studies. User study is the only one of the key activity in the usability engineering process. But it's not only the usability study is not only the usability engineering process. Okay, remember that there are so many other activities. Sir, next slide. So as I said, there are use environment. What kind of use environment? Whether it's hospital, home, clinic, transportation, kind of environment we need to consider. And there are a user, the limitations of the user, ergonomics of the user, human factors of the user, like physical limitations, mental limitations, capabilities, sensor capabilities, conditions, medical conditions, health conditions. All these things needs to be considered during the user selection. What type of users your device is meant for. And also the user interface. User interface means the interaction elements, the interaction of user with your device and the user. Those interaction elements called the device user interface. Maybe it is a screen or the website, maybe the buttons, maybe the plugs, maybe the switches. Okay, all these things, even the reading of the instruction manuals, that is also comes in the user interface. Labeling, packaging, whatever the user can able to see and touch, right? Those are all user interface. Okay, so when you define what could be the outcome, there are two outcome possibly. Whether usage of the device may be the correct way, device a user will going to use the device in a correct way, or user may use the device in a wrong way. So correct use makes the device safe and effective. but wrong use leads to the use error, and that will make the device ineffective and unsafe. Okay, sir, next slide. So that comes the unsafe, inefficient and unsafe device due to the use error called to eliminate this we need a usability. Before the usability definition, I already given so many examples. What are the use error, what different type of the use errors are there. This is the another slide which says what exactly the user error definition in the medical device industries. Maybe the action is unintended or intended action, maybe the sleep lapse or by mistake they does the actions, and with the intended they do the correct use or reasonably forcible misuse also we need to consider. So these are the like terminologies we normally use in the medical device industries. So next slide. So now I will go into some more details about usability engineering process or the activities involved in the medical device industries. So we have a ladder. The ladder, right, go from the concept to the post market. In that ladder, how the usability fits, what are the different activities involved in that process, I want to explain here. So next slide. You see, there is a product design and development ladder where they do the identification and do the design and development, testing and validation. In that, human factors or usability engineering process starts with deciding the use environment, device users, and user interface definitions. Once you know, you have to do the thorough known issues with the competitor products or the previous products, data analysis available from the FDA or NMPA China or Indian regulatory database. You should know all these known use errors. Okay, what happened in that use error? How can we avoid those kind of use errors? And once we do this, we have to do this FMEA. You know the FMEA model, right? Finite element analysis model. Like that finite element analysis model, we have UFMEA, use finite element analysis model in our usability engineering process. That in that we dig out each hazardous situation. What is the root cause? It's a root cause due to the perception, cognition, or actions. Then what are the usability impact level, whether it's a severe, major, or medium, low. What is the mitigation strategy, whether we have existing mitigation strategy or a new mitigation strategy needs to be implemented, and how this mitigation will taken into the new requirement and implement this mitigation. So these kind of activities we do in the UFMEA model. Once we apply the mitigation, we again test with the users, so that this use error will not occur again. Okay, so that's the process we call the formative usability evaluation and the summative usability evaluation. The difference between the formative and summative is formative will be done during the design and development stage, like prototype stage. Okay, summative usability evaluation will be done on the production equivalent stage. Okay, that's a major difference. There are some other difference which is not much more important right now. Just remember, summative is the final usability evaluation. Formative means initially we do during the development, that is called a formative evaluation. There could be a more number of usability evaluations. There is more than one evaluation can be done during the process. So next slide. This is another flow chart. Whatever I explained right now, we have a different deliverables right now. So use specification is one of the deliverables where how the device is going to be used. That is, we will write it, and identifying the different type of users, identifying the hazards, describing those hazardous situation, writing the UI specification. UI means user interface specification. Evaluation plan we need to write, doing the formative, summative, and preparing all the consolidation report is called usability engineering file. This usability engineering file is the mandatory deliverables for the regulatory application. So there are different types of regulatories, FDA regulatories, our Indian regulatories is there, and CE regulatory is there. So this usability engineering file is a mandatory deliverable there. Okay, the next one, sir. So this is another way of showing this, because why I kept a different slide for a same topic, because each and every, I was not aware of the disciplines we are coming. So to make sure each and every person gets this idea of usability engineering process, how it fits in the product design development. That's why I just created the same topic in a different format. You can see initially the project plan, requirements, design, validation, testing they do in the product development. Parallelly, they do this kind of activities, use specification during the initial phase. Then during the requirements phase, they do this kind of a user error analysis, UI specification. During the design phase and testing phase, they do the formative. Once they complete the design and verification stage, they do the validation. During that time, we do the summative. Then field observation once they launch the post market. So that's how we work together in the product design and development stage. The next slide, sir. These are the again deliverables specifically to the usability activities. What are the documents we are going to deliver as a final output during the each activities, and also um, like what are the different types of evaluation we do. So you mean the user study means that may be a expert review, that may be a heuristic evaluation, that could be a task analysis, that can be a cognitive walkthrough, or simulated workflow. All kind of things will be done. Even the survey also comes as a part of this. Surveys, questionnaires, whatever we do online, right? Ethnographic research, card sorting, these are the different ways of gathering the information. And also for the testing, like formative and summative, that's a terminology we do, we define in the medical device for the usability studies. So next slide. And also to guide us in a standard way across all the countries and across all the medical device, healthcare device discipline, we have a certain guidelines from the regulatories, from the US regulatory, from the CE European regulatories, from the international market, and also from the Indian regulatory. Also, we have a certain guidelines for the usability. These are the guidelines references for your reference. Uh, we have to follow these guidelines to while designing the medical device uh, people. So next one, that's I think that last. Okay, so this slide I just kept it based on my like experience while doing the user friendly design. I just wanted to give you some tips. Okay, so how to make the device. See, nobody is perfect here. We need to be learning each and every day. Okay, fail first, fail fast, these are the taglines we are using in the commonly in nowadays. Okay, but right now there is a terminology called first time right. You whenever you do the first time, make it right. Okay, then that is the philosophy we need to be adopted in the medical device industry, so that there will be no adverse event due to the bad design or poor design. So these are some kind of design tips for you guys when that will like help you while doing the design and development of the devices. These are very high level. uh, Still there are a unlimited list are there that will become as you progress further when you are designing that one. Okay, some of the key safety concepts, like make the things visible, properly visible. Okay, simplify the option, make the things simplify. Making the things complex is very easy. Okay, things if you want to simplify, doing the entire this presentation in one slide is very important. And you can do the presentation in n number of slides, but uh, keeping the simple information and doing the simple activities in one slide is very difficult. That's and avoid cognitive stresses to the user, and also like use natural way of mapping it. and also like connecting with natural way of life. So these are the some kind of a common tips when you are designing. Make use of common sense. That is the only thing needed when you are doing the design. No need of any kind of a rocket science. It's a common sense to avoid this kind of user errors. That is the basic learning actually. Even I learned after so many years. So common sense is a very very important things, and take a feedback thoroughly during the each and every iterations, because sometimes your eyes will be done when you design. So the person sitting behind you definitely will point out to your uh, mistakes, and that will definitely help. So open for the feedback, it definitely helps when we are designing this one. So what are the takeaways, guys, from this before moving to the next slide? Any thoughts? What you learned?
So,
Anyone? Yes, please.
so I have a question that in usability you use the term safety. So, sir, I am not from medical background, but I know that X-ray is harmful for us. So, sir, it is a safety consideration or the some other consideration of the that tool?
You mean taking a X-ray is harmful for us, definitely.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Sir,
with a
sir,
limited dose,
yes,
that
sir.
is for a diagnostic purpose. With a limited dose, that is fine. But overdose of X-ray, that leads to a different adverse effects to the body. Okay,
But
that is
sir,
not recommended.
but but sir, we can say now that X-ray is unsafe for us. So how can we say that the tool is good?
But why we are doing it, that is more important, right? It is for a diagnostic purpose. It is for analyzing some of your different root cause of your health care conditions. Okay, when you compare this magnitude of impact, right, there is a disease, you need to diagnose that disease, and there is a X-ray which is like giving some kind of a like a energy to your body, that is not making such impact. Okay, so why you are doing that X-ray is very important. So doing a X-ray in the medical device for diagnostic purpose, and that is different than when you are entering the airport for the scanning, right? That is different. Okay, so you should not enter so many times in the X-ray in the airport. That is not at all recommended.
Okay, okay, sir. Sir, basically, sir, I want to add that the definition of a usability is safety consideration also.
Right.
So, sir, safety considerations sir, basically means the using of the tool, not the hazards that it is causing.
Using of the tool in a right way,
Okay, sir.
in a
Uh,
right way, that is a usability.
it might have some small hazard as compared to the use of it.
Small hazard that will not impact the safety conditions. Maybe there will be a minor issues. Definitely there is no nothing device which is like 100% fails proof. Okay,
Yes, sir.
even like our mobile can be explored at any time,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
right? So nothing in is on our end, but you need to be very very thoroughly analyze that probability of occurrence. Okay,
Okay,
when can it occur? Once in million, one in billion times. So that is more important.
okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Any other thoughts, guys? Sir, you can move to the next slide. So this is the last slide. I want to like when you up the usability factor, right, when you while designing, definitely it reduces the user. Definitely it reduces the user. At the same time, it improves the patient safety aspects. Okay, and correspondingly, when the patient safety aspects improves, business progress in a positive direction. So this is what I wanted to convey in a simple way to understand, make you understand easily from for each discipline. I don't want to like convey this information in a medical device terminologies. It going not, we only not understanding those things. We need to read so many times to understand that terminologies. So this is a very simple way to make you understand. The takeaway is this one, and also like To be specific, the device recalls, deaths, injuries, harms can be reduced drastically with this kind of a engineering process, usability engineering process. I hope you like this session. I don't know. It's already 7:30. I don't know. You guys still want to continue or not? I am okay. Uh,
Maybe actually, Baswa, what I feel this medical devices complete design process is very new to these kids.
okay.
So maybe there is a formal way of doing everything like design process and this user, these forms and all they have to make because these are required for FDA approval. So that's I believe that's too much for them to
Yes. Yes.
understand at this stage. But at least what I felt that your presentation gave them a very different perspective on what not to do and to find what not to do. They really need to do a lot more
Right.
lot more understanding, lot more thinking from the user point of view, which is
Correct.
interesting. I think we can open this for discussion for because guys, I expect that you are designing your first assignment user something creatively you are designing, but Baswa's talk will should form the base of your design process. So will share the link soon, the recording. Rethink about what you have thought about designing because tomorrow is your submission. But yeah, Baswa is here for asking questions. So go
Yes.
ahead, anyone who is there. Mhm. You can simply switch on and start speaking. Others
Yes.
can keep on mute.
Hello.
Any? Yes. Yes.
Uh,
Please. Yes.
Good evening, sir.
Hi.
So actually, I wanted to ask about the assignment. And in the assignment, do you have to like make a sketch of the product that we are thinking?
Yes. I don't expect making CAD model or something. Just by हाथ से कुछ कलाकारी दिखाइए.
So there was one question in the message. I think for designing medical device, we need some architect graduates, as they are expert in designing. No, we don't have any architects in our company. In fact, so mechanical guys designs really superb
Yeah,
devices, and no, not only from the hardware point of view, even software people also design beautiful UIs. Yeah.
yeah. So I think students are still learning. So no more question, but you can send me as an email if you have any questions. I'll get
Yes.
back
Sure.
from Baswa replies. So Baswa, I also want to invite you. There will be midterm review of these students towards end of June. So I'll
Okay.
need your hour. I think I'll need your 2-3 hours to patiently listen to what they are doing. So there are
Okay.
4 teams, and I think we'll have a presentation of 30-minute each for from each team what they have
Definitely, I
done.
would like to, sir.
So,
Yeah.
yeah. So I would
Sure.
like to engage.
Definitely.
Yeah, great. So, I think there's no more questions. So, Teshi, would you like to close the session? Mhm.
Yeah, so I think Sujitesh has also joined back, but on behalf of 8 Kriya, thank you, Basavaji, for a very nice. Oh, I think Malik has raised a hand. Malik Olatunde.
Yeah,
Malik?
Yeah, good afternoon.
Hi. Good afternoon.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yeah. Thank you for the section. I want to ask about the assignment you have to submit. The sign. Are we submitting through a form or through an email?
So the Dhirajji, the question is to you. I think is he has to submit it through a form or through a email.
yeah, through a form. We'll float it soon. So tomorrow is the deadline. So
Okay. All
don't
right.
worry. We'll get back.
All right. Thank you. Thank you.
So we have a question from
One
Natural Core. So you can read the comments in the comment section. I'm on phone.
Okay. So after the usability engineering file, there are chances of use errors. If you are not done, yes, there are chances. Definitely, you will get a lot of complaints even after doing the usability engineering process. Uh, there are cases, even safety related users also there. So that's where we need to be very, very stringent when you are doing. If you are not done the properly right usability engineering process, then this kind of high level users will chances of getting the high level users are very, very much. And for a minor users and medium users, there won't be a recalls, and definitely there will be a complaints like this is not good, this is not good, your device is like hanged. These things will come as a complaints, but there should not be a safety risk. Okay, that's where while designing itself we should consider forecast all these kind of aspects. There are chances, yes.
I think there's another question from Milan. So this is on the assignment part. So I think Dheeraj on the assignment. Let me just open the chat box. Says, do we need to draw a sketch of pre-existing device and explain them, or we have to sketch some new device by our own? Uh, so Dheeraj, the question is from Milan. Milan, would you? Okay, we'll come back to
So,
Milan's question.
sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll get back. So, if there are no more question to Baswa, we can set him free actually. So, in case there are any question, please guys raise your hand or switch on your mic to ask. I can settle your assignment question later.
Yes. Good evening,
Pratyusha?
sir. Yes, sir. Good evening, sir. I'm Pratyusha. I'm a final year student from Armed Forces Medical College. So we have this hackathon events during our academic fest where we try to design a simpler device over like working on a specific topic like content. Like these recently the hackathon, I got this topic of checking the blood electrolyte levels, and actually electrolyte levels have a lot of influence on other metabolic activities. So the devices we are designing, like maybe even take another example, like detecting cancer. There was like we designed a chewing gum. We thought about a chewing gum used for having some certain tumor marker receptors, so they can detect the colonic cancer or oral cancers.
Oral
So
cancer.
these.
So these.
Sir, am I audible? Hello.
Am I
Hello.
audible?
Hello.
Yeah,
Hello.
Yes,
yeah,
please
yeah.
tell me.
So I was thinking if this type of new, like if we are planning or thinking of a new design of something that is an easy mechanic, so is there a chance that they can get implemented through? Because every time we coming up with an innovation for the same disease, there is very less likely that our innovation is gonna get applied for that particular for the diagnosis or treatment for that particular disorder. So what would be your ways of improvising on this part so that our medical device innovations will actually work out well?
Definitely, there is no boundary here, Pratyunsha. So, in fact, for a same disease,
Mm.
many companies, many people are working on the same disease and same cause. Okay,
Mm.
there is
Yeah.
no boundary for the innovation. Each and every innovation come up with their own ideas. Okay, don't restrict yourself. Okay, when
Mm.
it comes to the innovation, right? Just
Yeah.
go out of the boundaries. Whether it can be implemented or not, don't drop that idea. Okay, that's a main rule when you are doing the brainstorming session, when during the concept development. Don't
Yeah.
discourage the people who are coming out of the word ideas. Okay, this is not implementable, please sit down. No, don't do that. Okay, that is the basic rule of the brainstorming. Come,
Mm.
listen, list out, filter whether it's feasible or not, take that into the account, and later once it is not feasible, why it is not feasible, whether it is a manufacturing concern or it is a money problem, financial problem, decide that. If it is a financial problem, there are so many ways to solve it. If there is a manufacturing problem, there are other so many ways to solve it. Okay,
Right,
so that's how we need to start.
right, sir. Right, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Mm.
Mhm. Yeah, any other question for Baswa? Um, yeah, fine, Baswa. I think thanks a lot again from everyone here in Aidothon 2023. We'll engage more because we
Sure.
need a person like you to judge the creativity of students. Just a minute, my light is not. So, yeah, sorry. Yeah, so we'll need you for evaluations, midterm and final evaluation. We'll keep you engaged in Aidothon 2023.
Definitely, sir.
Okay?
It's my honor and pleasure to work with you guys. Um, the fresh minds I always encourage and welcome.
Yeah, thank
Right,
you,
right.
thank you. So we'll
Thank you
look
so
forward
much.
to it. Thank you,
Sure,
thank you,
sure.
Ashwin.
Thank you so
Thank you.
much for listening.
Okay,
Bye. Take care. All the
yeah,
best.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
thank you.
Bye. Yeah, bye.
So yeah, okay, guys. I think we have just finished our training week, and now the ball is in your court. We are waiting for your assignment submissions and the big project submission, whatever way you want to do it. There's no deduction of marks from the quality of drawing, but at least you should be able to present. If it is lion, it should look like a lion. Okay, so that's all I expect. So all the best, and see you uh, on Monday with the results. We'll be giving out the results on Sunday, probably by mid of the day. And you are welcome. Means maybe we'll have a small session on Monday just to announce the result and take hand holding of the new team 12 members, and others are also welcome to join to share their experience, and we wish them great luck on that day. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Sir,
I know we are almost concluding, but just
Mhm.
to know that, yeah, I know, I could see an average of 26, 24, 26 people joining every day, and there's
Mhm.
going to be some disappointment for those who don't make it. But maybe we'll communicate the results as part of this design. But maybe just want to hear out overall whether you're selected, not selected, of any feedback on this a week gone by, right? If you can have that.
Yeah. Any comments from anyone?
Sir, you earlier sir,
Yeah. Your voice is breaking, Branchit.
uh,
sir, you had earlier talked about a maths assignment. You told like when is that going to happen?
Sorry, which assignment?
So a graded assignment. It was there. Like,
No, I don't remember anything like that. So I'll just share what
yes.
evaluation sheet says, and then we can decide. Just a minute. Hmm.
So she has written
I
maths
think
was
she's saying
35.
something about
There is MATLAB.
Oh, yeah, yeah. MATLAB. We wanted to do the system engineering. Um, yeah. Sorry. Yeah, I missed it. So, how many engineers are here actually? Can you raise your hands?
So
Okay,
seven,
fine. 7 engineers are there, and
7 or 8. Yeah.
it. Fine. I think I'll skip the MathWorks assignment. We'll learn on the way. Okay. Fine. Thank you. Thank you. So the grading will be same, like 50 marks for both doctors and engineers in their creativity assignment. Okay. Fine. Okay. I think with this, I think all. Malik, you have something to say?
yes. Sorry, I want to ask if our marks will be sent to us individually or maybe on Monday.
Sorry. Come again. Can you be a bit louder?
Yes, yes. I was asking if how will we know we have been selected for the next phase?
Oh yeah, yeah. We'll announce it on Sunday. We'll send a common email to all with a list of selected students. Okay, by
Okay,
like
all right.
end of Sunday probably, as we'll need, because the submission date is tomorrow. So we'll take some time to evaluate. Okay,
Thank you.
thank
I
you.
think Milan has raised his hand. Milan?
Yes, sir. Hello, sir. Good evening, sir. Sir,
Yeah.
actually, I want to ask about the assignment regarding some assignment questions. Like, we do have to draw the sketch of pre-existing medical devices, or
I have
we have
answered.
to
No?
sketch some.
I have answered. This is not about pre-existing. It is about thinking about how you find the solution.
Okay.
I need something new, creative from you.
Okay, sir.
Anything. I don't care. Anything that can tackle RA or IBD.
Okay, sir.
Thank you.
Sir, sorry, please. So we can choose to design anything on rheumatoid arthritis or inflammatory bowel disease, or we can do both.
Up to you. Up to you.
Okay.
Sir, do we need to submit a design also at
Design, yeah. At least sketch should be there in the white sheet. When you are doing this handwritten, you can make a sketch. I don't expect you to make a CAD model or something, but if you can do, it's up to you.
Sir, can you tell like
So I
the
think if we
time up till which we can submit the things? Because like my examinations are going on,
Tomorrow,
so that's why.
when are ending? When is that ending, Vedant?
21, sir, 21.
Yeah, sorry for this, but yeah, tomorrow 11:59 is the time. So you give your best.
Okay, sir.
Yeah,
Sure.
So can we give us some brief explanation of our model also?
oh yeah. Of course, I don't expect a drawing. You have to explain what it is trying to do.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Fine then, I guys. Thank you, everyone. Hope
yeah,
you
so
enjoyed the 5 days.
yeah, so Dheerajji, just because I know we are running very out of time, I think as Sujitesh mentioned, because we have put in a lot of effort to get you, Saminder, Ritesh,
Mhm.
myself, put in a lot of effort to get a lot of speakers, and some of them
Yeah.
are very world renowned speakers. So it would
Mhm.
be really helpful for us, and especially for the next batches who come for Aidothon 2024 and beyond. If you could at least write in your, maybe in your submission when you are doing at the bend, your feedback, like, maybe this is something which you like, some lectures that you like, something more that you would like to see, because that will help us to curate the program better. Because that that is not just the four of us getting our minds together and trying to do it. When you hear from about 25, 26 people, it's always really helpful. Yeah. So maybe you can put that as a final thing in your assignment, that this is the, my feedback would be very, very useful. Yeah.
Yeah, we've had what, 8 speakers, right, over the last. There were
Yeah.
totally 10 sessions. One session was the IPR quiz, and I think there was an introductory session. So I think there have been 8 speakers. I think we very thankful to them because they took out time of their busy schedule, and I think each of them we had requested 45 to 50, 60 minutes, but almost every session, I think we are going beyond their time. And yeah, I think it'll also be useful for us to kind of communicate back to them what went well, and obviously we'll definitely look into what's your inputs and what could also be there, which would have been helpful, for future seasons. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. All the very
Fine.
best.
Thank
Put in
you.
your
Thank you.
best
Bye.
effort. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bye.
Thank you.
Okay. Bye.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.